Hi everyone, my name is Ray. Some of you might know me as Tiki with Ray, and today I'm with my newfound friend Mitch.
Yep.
All the way from Florida.
Yep. Sarasota, Florida.
We're out here at TikiCon 2019, and I understand you're a little bit of a mixologist.
Yeah. So I'm a cocktail bartender. My specialty is tiki and rum cocktails. I don't necessarily work in a tiki bar. I work in a craft cocktail bar that's in a hotel down in Sarasota.
Sarasota, Florida.
Yep, Sarasota, Florida.
What's the name of the hotel?
The restaurant's called Jack Dusty.
Yeah.
It's in the Ritz-Carlton down in Sarasota. So we specialize in coastal cuisine and craft cocktails.
Yeah.
So we have a quite extensive cocktail menu that's all made by us behind the bar. But
Did you come up with these drinks yourself?
Yeah. So all the drinks are our own, and we've all got about 6 to 7 drinks on the menu. Mine mostly are rum cocktails.
Yeah.
But we have quite an extensive list. But my passion has definitely become classic tiki cocktails, but done with modern ingredients and techniques. So implementing, instead of just recreating drinks of old like they did, using maybe even what would be more classical cocktail ingredients of stuff that's not traditionally seen in tiki.
Give me an example.
So for the Iron Tiki Tender contest that I participated down in Atlanta,
The Iron Tiki Tender contest. Oh, that, and
there was a southern regional part of it.
so how did you do?
I won that. But so the first competition was secret ingredients, and you had to make a hurricane with whatever secret ingredient you chose.
Hurricane?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's an involved drink. And it's a drink that's definitely open for interpretation.
Yes, and so my ingredient that I got to choose was Herb Saint, which is going to be
Herb Saint?
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with it, is going to be a New Orleans style absinthe. So lots of anise flavor, not something that you'd usually find in a hurricane at all.
Not at all, actually.
But a hurricane being a classic New Orleans cocktail.
Yeah.
Herb Saint being a classic New Orleans flavor as well.
Yeah.
That goes into another New Orleans classic cocktail, which is the Sazerac.
Yep.
So I combined both of those cocktails into a hurricane with Sazerac. So you had Peychaud's cherry bitters as well as Herb Saint into it. So you had another layer of flavor that was kind of either love it or hate it, because not everybody likes the licorice flavor. But it was very unique, and that's kind of the stuff I've liked doing. And not everything has to be, whether it's a blended drink, whatnot. In the classic style is almost like deconstructing rum cocktails and finding what's the important flavors, comparing like the Polynesian West Coast style cocktails to more Caribbean cocktails. Being in Florida, we have a lot more of the rums, and just simple cocktails made with good quality rums, a little bit of citrus and some kind of sugar, whether it's a Thai punch, whether it's a Conchara Cara from Cuba, whether it's a Caipirinha from Brazil, where you're trying to feature the rum flavor, not covered up with heavy amounts of fruit juices.
I'll be honest with you, the tea punch is one of my favorite drinks to drink that I make at home.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And what I love is it truly is the basic building blocks of a tiki cocktail, rum, sugar, lime.
Yep, that's all you need. Classic daiquiri, and there's a million variations. It's about finding the proper blend of rums that you want featured, because they're not all interchangeable.
No, they're not.
Even from one style to the next.
And some don't play well together.
Not
either.
at all. But I have also really liked incorporating other ingredients into that as well. Tomorrow on the Tiki Tour that's going to be going on here, I'm going to be featuring a rum old fashioned that it's going to be your standard of, you're going to have 2 plantation rums, dry carousel, but I'm also going to be using Cynar 70, which is an Italian artichoke liqueur that is very bitter. You're never going to find that in a tiki cocktail, because it's an Amaro. You don't have many Amaros in tiki, because it's bitter, it's spicy, it's mixed with citrus. It's usually going to taste like bile. So not something that you would usually find mixed in a tiki cocktail, but in a rum old fashioned, it's very, very nice. So that's actually one of our cocktails that we feature at the restaurant that I work at.
There's something I want to ask you as a mixologist. I mean, one thing that's very, very common in tiki cocktails is the idea of blending rums together. And now that I think about it, does that ever happen with any other spirits like whiskey or vodka or tequila?
Not necessarily as much, because you're usually with vodka, definitely not.
Because the vodka's gonna, unless you're adding another vodka that has a taste to it.
Whiskey, yes. But you're not going to be blending it for cocktail purposes because you have blended scotches, you have blended whiskeys quite a bit. You'll find actually there's some really high-end personal blends that get made and sold on secondary markets of whiskeys to recreate higher-end ones that are hard to find. But those aren't used for cocktails. Those are meant predominantly just for sipping straight. But no, rum's about it when it comes to cocktails or spirit that's blended for cocktails.
Any idea why that is, though?
Because there's so much diversity in rum.
And a lot of people don't really know that.
Yeah, so with whiskeys, with vodkas, there's a lot of rules in place that keep things set for a reason, but it'll only allows so much diversity. With rum, it's so open and so diverse in what there can be, whether you're making it from raw cane juice, like your cachaças, like your rum agricals, or you're making it from molasses, or you're making it even from the byproduct of that, like they do with Haitian rums, where they're making it from the dried residue of it. Any of that falls under the category of rum. So you get a lot of open interpretation for good and bad. And that's why when some people just hear rum, they think Captain Morgan, and that's which is garbage. But then there's been a really great movement of that, understanding higher end rums, in my opinion, of sipping rums, not all just having to be for cocktails. And I like to kind of push back that just because this bottle is more expensive should be used for other cocktails. Some of the really, really nice rums are only going to cost you $30 to $50 because the way I've had it explained to me, and it makes sense, is that to age something in the Caribbean takes about half the time as it would in, say, Scotland. Because you get so much more give from the barrel, you get so much more. So something that's only been aged 8 to 10 years is equivalent to something that's been aged 20 years in Scotland, let's say. So you can get a lot more of that flavor. Of course, you have a lot more loss because more is absorbed into the barrel. You have more devil's cut. So I don't know. It's cheaper.
Let me ask you something. I mean, so I'm at a point where when I'm at home. I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of really great rums that I just sip. And I always kind of feel a little weird using these really, really good rums in cocktails.
Understandable.
Well, what do you think about that?
I think there's a time and a place for them. If you're going to use some of those rums, those really nice rums in cocktails, they should be the feature. They shouldn't be covered up. Like one of my favorite ones is Diplomatico Reserva out of Venezuela. It's a little bit sweeter rum, great for sipping. Is fantastic in a cocktail that you're not really adding any citrus to it. We use it in a coffee cocktail at our bar. It's an egg white coffee cocktail, similar to, like, I don't want to call it an espresso martini, but it's an after dinner rum cocktail. It's egg white, coffee, actually cold brew coffee, Diplomatico Reserva, and a little bit of apple and cinnamon syrup. So you're tasting the rum plus something. It's not something covering that rum.
It's the thing that I realized, like, getting back to the whole idea of the tea punch is like, and the idea of like these cocktails. It's the idea is that everything is supposed to just cut the spirit, not overtake the spirit. You know, kind of like the same idea. Like if you're gonna have, like, say you're gonna have like a pour of like Scotch whiskey or something like that. You know, you just want to put an ice cube in there just to break it up a little bit. And it's the same thing with like tiki cocktails, where it's like, you know, the focus should be the rum, and everything else is just kind of adding to it. Not like, okay, this is passion fruit syrup, and then there's rum somewhere.
And I'm drunk. Well, it's similar in the way, the evolution of the old fashioned, and that you had your older old fashions, which are going to be muddled sugar, your fruits, all mixed together to really that be your predominant flavor, because you were trying to cover up really, really rough moonshine, shortly aged whiskey. Whereas now today, a proper moonshine you're going to get in a high-end cocktail bar is going to be whatever your whiskey of choice is, about a quarter of an ounce of Demerara sugar syrup and bitters. You're wanting to taste the whiskey. You're just adding to it. You're not covering it up. You're not making it into a whiskey sour. You are adding to it and elevating it. And that's what is being done with some of the really nicer rums, instead of just covering up. And that's why it kind of hurts me when I see some of these at-home tiki bartenders, or even in restaurant bartenders who take really, really nice, high-end 15, 20-year-old rums, and they're making them into painkillers. It's like, why are you doing that? Like, you're just wasting it. Like, make that into a cocktail that features it, and you taste it. Because there's great cocktail rums. There's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And it's about finding those right blends. So
you said that you're from Sarasota.
yeah, born and raised.
Well, I know of a tiki bar that's in Sarasota, the Mai-Tai Hut.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about the Mai-Tai Hut.
Well, it's the oldest Florida tiki bar, still in operation. Very unique in that it's been there for a long time. A lot of people know about it. Yeah. It's gone through some rough periods for the last few years, last few decades.
Sadly, that's like most tiki bars.
Yeah. And that over the last, I think probably it's full time. It's had a Mai-Tai that has nothing to do with what most people here and in the tiki community would know as a Mai-Tai. No. It's their own and authentic Mai-Tai.
Yep.
In that it's 3 rock gut, can't buy anywhere rums, and then 151 mixed with something that's red. Not many people know it. I have my ideas. They're $5, and they'll make you black out after about 3 of them.
And most of the people that are ordering Mai-Tai to buy it, they're just like, I want to get wasted fast and cheap.
Yeah, and it's a really unique cross section in that it's in a part of town that used to be a very nice part of town. For a long time was on the edge of a not great part of town.
Yeah.
But is now, one side of the street is $1 million mansions, the other side of the street is not. Let's just put it as that. It's one of the rougher neighborhoods in Sarasota, and so you get a large cross section of clientele there, all there for the same reason. But the decor, the authentic nature of it being a real tiki bar is more than places that spend millions of dollars trying to create there. You couldn't pay to create the atmosphere that place naturally evokes. And since they've been able to get it smoke free, so much of that has been restored. And one of the best aspects of the restoration is a painting that's been there for I think 40 plus years now.
40 years.
That was restored, adjusted just for height, and you can see the original color of the wall and then the color below it from the 50 plus years of smoke, and it's about 20 different shades of pale to brown.
Wow.
And they've kind of made that as a point to say, like, this is what smoking in this bar for so long has done to it. This is why we're not having smoking.
And look at what it's doing to your lungs.
Yeah, exactly. This is what it'll do to the wall of the place. Imagine what it'll do to the insides of your lungs. And that was met with some pushback because it is kind of a dive tiki bar. It's always been that.
We're trying to save your life here.
Yeah. You can drink the rock gut rum. You can't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
But there is a big push to save it because a lot of people want to keep it what it is.
Yeah.
But a lot of people want to make it into not necessarily something like Halepele or Trader Vic's where it's this high-end classic tiki bar. They just want to keep it as a nice kind of authentic dive tiki bar that maybe has 5 or 6 fantastic cocktails on the menu that are done right. That's all you have to do, just the right ingredients.
I agree with that. I'm seriously, as long as you got it. Give me 5, 6, or 7, or 8 great drinks, and then I'm good to go. Because a lot of times I'm just going to order the same 2 anyway.
Give me 5 cocktails done amazingly well over 25 drinks that are kind of.
And to be honest with you, I love the old school tiki bars. That's what I like. Yeah. I like to go into a bar that feels like it's been there forever.
Yeah.
So what affiliation do you have with the Mai-Tai?
I worked with them on a side project with a local rum company, Siesta Key Rum Company.
Siesta Key?
Yep.
I am very familiar with Siesta Key.
So they have there's a rum company in Sarasota called Siesta Key Rum. Yep. They make 3 rums. They make a spiced, a white, and then a toasted coconut, which is definitely their best rum.
The toasted coconut is so good.
It's fantastic. Doesn't taste like suntan lotion, which is saying a lot for coconut rum.
My buddy Jason gave me a bottle of that for my birthday last year. Thank you, Jason.
So they were featuring an event because there was an article posted about the rebirth of the hut.
Yeah.
And so Siesta Key was going to be sponsoring it, and they needed some cocktails made for the event. So one thing led to another, and that fell on my shoulders to help make those for that and make that for the event. And so we decided to feature 2 classic cocktails to put on the menu, a traditional Cobra's Fang, and then a cocktail that we ended up calling the Bahi Aloha.
The Bahi Aloha,
which is kind of the predecessor of the Pina Colada, based on a cocktail that was served in Puerto Rico. That was before coconut cream, Coco Lopez, was ever invented.
Yeah.
So it's similar flavors, but all made with fresh coconut water. But you've also got apricot brandy in there. So it's still a light and refreshing toasted coconut rum and coconut water cocktail, but not nearly as sweet, not as syrupy as you would get from Coco Lopez. So you can sit and have some and feel refreshed and hydrated as you get drunk.
So what you're saying is you came up with some new drinks for the month.
Yeah, I introduced them to them, and they're still featuring them.
They're like, hey, this is how you make cocktails.
Yeah, well, the challenges that you have when you have a true dive bar is often staffing.
Yeah.
And then when you have staffing issues, you have consistency issues.
Oh, God, yeah.
And when you are consistently inconsistent in your product, the expectations go very low. Yeah. So that's why if you can serve a Mai-Tai that's literally can be made in 4 seconds by doing boop, boop, you're good to go.
Yeah.
For them.
That answers the reason why Tiki died out in the 70s.
Yeah.
Right
yeah,
there?
it's a lot of work. You have to have
Yeah.
you have to have a base level of understanding, training, and care.
I have friends that, like, you know, they worked at a craft cocktail bar, or they worked at a tiki bar, and then they went to like a regular bar, just open up beers and pouring shots and pouring wine, and it's like they're making more money faster, easier, and it's like, well, why would you go back to like, okay, I'm gonna make a drink that has like 11 ingredients in it? Yeah, screw that. It's a labor of love.
It is, and my thought on true craft cocktails, if you're making a vodka soda, yeah, you don't need to jigger and measure your pours. But if you're trying to make a true cocktail, even a classic,
they have to be measured.
You want it to be consistent, and the only way you can truly get consistency is by measuring.
Yep.
It doesn't take that long, and me measuring and being able to make my drinks consistent is better than you being able to make your drinks quicker. That the person comes in 5 times and tries it, each time it's different because your ingredients are different each time. Just because your counts are different, there's so many factors that can go into it. It's pretty unique.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. We need more people like you out there, saving tiki bars, making great drinks.
Yeah, that's my side of it. I like the tiki community, but my background is I like the history, but I also like the cocktails, and the cocktails are what needs saving in a lot of ways.
I agree with you completely, because the thing is, it's like for me, I'm all about the environment. I like the bar, but if the drinks are crap, I'm not gonna go there. Hey gang, this is Tiki with Ray, and I just want to say thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more episodes, click on the subscribe button. And if you liked the video, give it a like. That would mean a lot to me. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave a comment in the comment section below.